Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon 2v2 for you guys today on Punch Bowl. I'm taking Blue Dragon's Mechanized. This was right after a previous game, and we tried to balance the teams. Despite the rankings here, Bogan Battalion had way more games than either me or Depression, so that was the attempt anyway. We'll see how it works out. But I'm going to be defending in Bravo and pushing through Foxtrot and Echo, trying to do the classic split here as my ally moves a huge Scandinavian column up through Delta. So also calling in some reinforcements for me on that side, which is much appreciated as I was a little bit light in Bravo, potentially a little bit risky, but I figured a couple of Chumot anchoring the formation and Hawk Pips and some Recon Infantry would be able to hold. The mechanized push was something new for me, so a lot of M41A1s, 10-point cheap tanks, and I mean 3 double groups there, backed up by Nanayan-Shiki A's, Nanayan-Shiki G, and then I do also have a couple of heavier tanks that will be coming with us as some KFVs move forward in the woods here, trying to prevent that sort of thing. I do immediately lose an OH-6D, and we also spot a couple of BTRTs from Bogan, which does tell me sort of what I'm dealing with there. And a T-80B, of course, will get one shot, one kill on an Nanayan Shiki and lose me a Chumot. So pretty sad about that right off the bat, and I was getting a little bit worried here as this game was getting started, but Rangers securing this side. We spot a couple of vehicles moving up, so that made the KFV by here probably pretty okay. And definitely the Scout Recon Infantry on this side protecting my Hawk Pips, a good idea as well. These guys, of course, do have their guns turned off, and we will pop over here on the right when this column gets to its destination, but for right now, most of the action is on this side as I'm going to be unloading infantry and pushing through the woods and avoiding those Saperi who no doubt were carried in by BTRTs into Echo. So BMP3, this is going to be the first proof of concept here as Mitsubishis fire in, and look at that. We get a kill right off the bat, 20 points worth of fire support vehicles, 12 AP power, 7 rounds a minute. What's not to like, right? And the idea here was just the sheer number of guns. We will have some interesting firing angles coming up here in a bit as well as the game progresses, and I think Bogan had more of his points over toward Bravo, so this was relatively lightly held, and even things like Spetsnaz Gru are really suffering as Afghanzis will get some nice kills, unfortunately on my KFVs, but they do pay for it, 40 points in kills, and of course these guys will I guess they kind of got out. That looks like panicked, stunned, and my Sochung-Su also a little bit stunned. But the idea here was that I saw a couple of heavier tanks move up this way as well with the Rangers, a couple of T-80Us, 2 of them, and this was really terrifying. So on this side I have, let's see, where's my K1? Yeah, I have a K1 that's up a little bit too close to that town for comfort, but I thought I could protect him at least reasonably well. I do have a mortar. No, I don't. And I immediately called in 2 Peace Pheasants going after the BUs, and I lose one of them. Other one is evac ordered, and these guys are fine. So I was panicking at this point. These guys are huge heavy tanks, but let's take a look at what happens next. So I know I have to kill them. I know I need something to handle these guys, and I'm not going to be able to get through that frontal armor. So M41A1's moving up the side, K1 moving up the other side, and the T-80Us, not BUs, T-80Us, one of them just took a massive side shot from Mikiyu Marushiki, and jeez, I can't talk, Nanasan Shiki G, 60-point tank dealing 7 points of damage to the T-80U off of a single side shot, and seeing that, I'm going to get my K1 involved as well, and of course, that is a much heavier gun, so look at that, frontal armor did a single pip of damage on the T-80 and we lost it, but the K1 is able to get the kill, and both of those T-80Us for Bogan go down probably pretty unexpectedly as well, which cannot have been a pleasant experience. So I do still have a K1 on this side, but it is looking a little bit light. I haven't captured the town either because I can't deal with the Sapri, so for right now I'm just going to take a look at what my ally is doing, and look at this huge armored column. I love the CV9030Ns and all this. I saw this going on. We were talking about it in Discord as well, and I thought to myself, you know what, this seems good, and I have a forward position here, so let's pad it out, let's try to get the Sochung-Su forward to put pressure on Bravo, let's make this into basically a killing concave, and then secure Foxtrot and potentially secure Echo, depending on how much time I'm given. And the idea is just Bravo doesn't matter that much if we can survive here. And the way it's looking, I mean, Iroquois Yekri dying, Carton Yekri engaging with CV9030Ns, which is never a good engagement for them because they don't have the anti-tank for that. And I was reasonably confident that Depression over here could get the win. At least enough of one to make it worthwhile. Of course, very high risk move, and there's not much defending Delta, so it is a little bit reliant on my hold, but that also just urges caution because if I start to put up a nice defensive concave on this side and I get kind of pushed, but my ally ends up in trouble, then I would be able to potentially help out, buy some things he doesn't have, or look over on that side to try and get a little bit of an improvement in the situation. Not that it ends up being necessary at the moment anyway, as Charlie is definitely feeling the wrath of crippling depression. My Chuma are moving forward. I need to get the JSTF Rangers scouting a little bit more forward as well, and I probably should have retreated a little bit here. The K1 and the Mitsubishis are a little bit exposed, and I don't have enough forward anti-air to protect them against something like an attack helicopter pushed forward by my opponent, which I haven't seen yet, but I was definitely afraid of because the Soviet Union does have some very nice options for that. That would just be able to sit back here, have a couple sacrificial units, and then just plink away at all of my armor and get a lot of value off of that. So I was a little nervous about it. I didn't quite do anything at the moment, really just trying to manage more of the front as my Rangers are pushing forward. My Chumat's trying to get cheeky kills, not some cheekies in the woods as well. Unfortunately shot up a little bit, and that's a situation. Yeah, I mean, we see a T-55 Pion in the replay, but I didn't see it at the time. I just looked over and realized, oh hey, they're both dead. So the Chumat, a bit too late. We might have been able to get some work done on the Pion, but instead going after a 5-point MTLBV, because that's the same thing, right? But my Sochung Su are pushing forward. I really wanted revenge on whatever AA piece did kill one of my Peace Pheasants, so we do spot the OSA AKMs, and my Rangers are moving back, trying to avoid getting shot at by all of those guns on those cheap 5-point transports. Of course, the Sochung Su are spotted, and these OSAs are wheeled, but I did still have a Peace Pheasant, and that call is going to be right now a little bit of a risky one. These guys are moving back into the woods as quickly as they can, and if they fire in, they could even kill my plane on the way in. But 65 points each, that's 130 points of AA that I wanted revenge on. 1 shot and 2 shots, down they go. Of course, 4 Mavericks, but Revenge SU-27S is going to be very effective, and I lose the plane. So, in isolation, that one was worthwhile, right? 130 points for 90-point trade. But put together, I lost both of my Peace Pheasants dealing with those OSAs. So, hey, that was a good situation for Bogan and a bad one for me. The hold on the right-hand side has, well, become a hold instead of a push, as a lot of the infantry fighting vehicles have been lost for depression here, but we do have more of a mechanized and armored column moving forward. More CV9030Ns. I do love this play from depression, because these guys, I mean, 25 points, Bushmaster 2s, 6 frontal armor, very, very effective tools when used properly. So, my own Hachi Kyushikas are moving forward, K1 still anchoring this side, but I have lost a couple tools there, and yeah, this, if not earlier, this was definitely when I should have pulled back. But Hachi Kyushiki's shredding Motostrelki in the open field and depositing M67 Hans. I really love these guys, the recoilless rifles. I mean, this makes a great pair in my opinion. The Hans can deal with both infantry and, well, lighter AFVs from mid-range, and the Hachi Kyushikis with that 1925 meter range gun can get a lot more work done besides. But Mi-28 does hit those guys, and this is what I was worried about, right? Because Mi-28 has 16 Attica 5 missiles, 60% accuracy, 25 AP. That's enough to make my life a living hell without having to go back and resupply. But my Hawk Pips, this is why I love these guys. They are also capable against helicopters. First shot's a miss, second shot is a hit, and down he goes, as these guys of course do have that wonderful 9 HE power, which means a single hit on something with 8 strength will take it out. I did lose the K1 unfortunately, and Bogan has been pushing back into Echo, so let's see. Yeah, T-80Bs, BRDM-3s, we got a couple of kills there, but not many, and certainly not worth that tank. So we do have to watch out. There's also another T-80U, but this firing concave has been prepared. Shiki A's, K1's firing in, down to 4 strength off the bat. Shumat firing in as well, and even if I lose a Shiki A, I don't really care. Unfortunately, ATGM's a mess, but the K1 just able to get the kill. Side shot, it looks like, on that tank as he was going back into his little hidey hole in the far woods. So another big kill and another point in the favor of Blue Dragons mechanized this game. So CC are engaging on the right-hand side, but I mean, look at this. Just lots of mechanized infantry, lots of Dragoner, and even though there is a big pushback from Union on this side, it looks like he might be able, well, it looks like my ally might be able to clear these woods with just a little bit additional work. Let's see. These are, ooh, what are those? Those look like Afghanzis or something similar, so fire support there from Union. Of course it is Baltic. Oh no, that's the ZSU 57-2s, yeah. Pretty good armor on those guys. If you don't have a tank gun, it's going to be difficult to kill them. But KFE is pushing forward, So Chung-Su pushing forward, and I wanted to get more of a presence in Bravo just because I figured, well, the hold and Echo didn't really work out that much. I don't really feel like pushing in here because I like this firing concave. It's disperse, it's, well, pretty well fleshed out, and with the Hawk Pips as well, I felt like I could defend from reasonably most things. The left side is pretty weak, but I have an OH-60 there as a tripwire. I have a couple of Peace Pheasants 2s that I can call in should the need arise, and getting Bravo would really be able to support my ally a little bit better as well. So, Seed Plane coming in, the Hawk Pips of course are turned off, but there is a shot going in the Beho, does miss, and the Hawk Pips on double tap, and 1-2, both hits. Down goes that Seed Plane with very little return. So, Beho is spotted, but I mean, this guy, 2 frontal armor, probably would have died. It's not like he's one of those challenger marksmen for the Commonwealth, but it still would have been worth it, I think, even if I had lost that that vehicle. So M4 1A1s all out of gas. Look at that. They've used their autonomy getting up here. And the T-55 Matties will have a field day with that. 17 AP power, not the best rate of fire, but you don't need it against these sorts of guys because they can't pen your armor anyway, so there's really no point in being worried. A couple of Mitsubishi vehicles moving forward, Nanasan Shikis and M4 1A1s, cheap things. These guys, of course, 5 points. The M4 1A1s, 10 points each. And yeah, let's see, BRDM3, 35 points. We get 1 hit, and the next volley should be on the way shortly. Let's see. 1, 2, there's the kill. And 20 points worth of tanks just killed a 35-point scout vehicle. So, you know, I guess here's the thing. Blue Dragon's mech, you really struggle for autonomy. So long maps are going to end up sort of like my ally over here with all of his tanks out of ammunition before they can really engage. Sorry, not out of ammunition, out of gas before they can really engage. But on short maps across straits like Foxtrot and Echo, they can really be just really brutal with just valuable fire support. So KFVs and So Chung-Su moving forward, but now we're getting shot by Charioteers. This is a worse situation, taking a lot of fire into the So Chung-Su as well, and not able to get the grenade launchers on the KFVs online like I had wanted to. But there's more of a push, Fallskirmjäger on this side, and just a slow, steady grind across the entirety of Charlie from my ally. So if we can get the win there, if we can even counter cap it or cap it, I have purchased a command vehicle for their Bell 205 carrying command infantry, then that we can flip to a +2 or even a +4 as Echo's capped. Bravo is sort of up for grabs at the moment, but if we can flip their +2 zone, then that's going to be a very fast way of capitalizing on that 91-point advantage. Just 13 minutes into the game as well, so still over half of it left to play. And if we can get that, I mean, that's reasonable cause to surrender, and you can see 26 minutes left, something dynamic does happen. I'm not promising what it is, but you'll have to stick around and find out. Of course, I will also show the kill cards at the end, and there are some good ones this game, so I do hope you guys see that. So let's take a look. There is a helicopter moving up, and that's nothing I can deal with right now, so my Hanchinano Shiki, of course, is going to die. My Beho is moving forward, but the range here is not great, so my Beho is going to be spotted before he can bring those guns online. This is really just, it's a, hey, I'm here, hey, if you move forward, you're going to have trouble, and the OH-60 maintaining line of sight. So we do get pushed out a little bit farther, So Chung-Su dying, and the M4 1A1 dying, and I think So Chung-Su are actually in the center as Charioteers are pushing back, supported by Motostrelki. Nice combined teamwork there as well. Union has the Charioteers and Bogan had the Motostrelki. You do always like to see teams working together, but hasn't been quite enough as Charlie has been, uncapped. Fallskirmjäger got the kill over there on the far side. Ito 90 spotted, and let's see if the Dragoner can get it. Stuck in the mud for 8 seconds, 7 seconds. He's still moving. Huh, he got out, fair enough. And with that, my Bonbu are going to be able to move into the town and flip that zone indeed. So, with that side of the field looking a little bit better, I am going to focus on Echo here for just a moment. Nanion Shiki A's coming in for more fire support, and we have a quad stack of Gongbyung War Crimes infantry that are going to be moving up with So Chung-Su and KFE 25s trying to push my opponent out of this town. We might be able to just say, hey, you have napalm, I have more napalm, therefore I win. But it will be a close run thing if I can't get into the town relatively safely. So the downside of napalm infantry is, of course, they can't handle anything with 1 or more armor, and these K200s have 2 frontal armor. I'm hoping to use them to drive up and deposit my infantry in the center town here. I should have moved up and just had them all the way, but I figured there might be something with a bigger gun, and I'd start losing Gongbyung, and lose my advantage and then die to napalm infantry relatively quickly. Mortar fire is coming in, and the Mitsubishis don't like that at all, but my Hawk Pip's been resupplied and refueled, and I'm just taking advantage of not getting shot at here. I am getting KFV-25s forward. Gongbyung trying to move forward, but here come the Sapri, and that is going to be a little bit brutal as the KFV guns get online, but look at that, 15 men, one of the units of Gongbyung killed, the other is shaken, and that is going to impact their accuracy, 42% off those flash rounds, but yeah, I mean, just the sheer amount of fire support going against those Sapri will be able to get the kill, but nice work with an MI8 MTV, and my Gongbyung are nearly dead off that, of course just 5 strength each. We do get a little bit of revenge off of Biho, so I guess it was kind of worth it, but these guys, 15 points each, not as cheap as you might expect, because the flash launchers are a bit more expensive than the... well, no, these guys are 15... I guess it's 10 strength versus 5, right? Afghanzi unfortunately does see my OH6D, but seeing this, I begin to wonder, and we are going to be trying to... oh, what is that? That is infantry. Right. So you see infantry like that on the side, it very well might be command infantry, particularly on a zone like Echo, and that was something that I wanted to explore. There is an airplane circling, and I mean, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. So seed plane, ASF, very nice combination. My B-Ho is getting shot at, but the gun's off, so it doesn't get the second shot, and the B-Host then turned back on. Block 52D coming in, trying to engage with the 27S, and a nice engagement angle here, as the 27S cannot shoot first. Down he goes, we do get revenge, and one missile away on the Su-24. So probably should have been evacs here, but it's hard to do that when they're stunned, and that circle is going to bring him back within range of the B-Ho. A little bit of damage, and disappeared. Yep, that was the kill. So just enough, 2 points of damage to get that last kill off the B-Ho, and now the KFV-25s can move forward just fine. So the B-Ho does see an ammunition explosion, and the KFV-25s are going to have to deal with that Afghanzi, which can be a difficult engagement. So these guys don't have the best armor. Stunned, but one of them is stunned and one's not, so I immediately split the unit and move forward again, so even if that guy can't get the kill, which he does, the other one would have been there and able to shoot in at those command infantry that much quicker. So Chang-Su, meanwhile, are going to finish off the last of the Gornostrelki in the town, and I unfortunately lose my Huns to some Spetsnaz Gru and Motostrelki defending the woods. But we have cleared the cap here with the cap in Charlie as well. That means we're at a +5, which is a very difficult thing for a team to come back from, just because 1, it means map control, 2, it's just pushing toward that 500 point win margin that much quicker. So a big move here in the center, T80Bs double stacked, and I do start losing some tools as the Motostrelki are taking shots I wish were going in at the T80Bs. K1 shooting in at the wrong target, taking a couple of points of damage to the face there, and my Hachikyou Shikis fending off the Motostrelkis as well instead of using those Geomats on T80Bs. Luckily, however, the K1 does get the chance to live here, and we get one nice shot, 4 points of damage off, and the Hachikyou Shiki is able to support as well. So Geomat coming in, and it looks like a hit, actually, combined with the K1, down to 1 point of strength on the T80B, but not able to get the kill there quite yet. They are split, and I think one's probably going to be retreated, the other one not, and a couple of tanks coming down this way. This terrified me, because, I mean, what do I have to stop 2 T80Bs, short of buying another Peace Pheasant? 2, but I only have 1 left. And that's going to be a little bit difficult. I don't want to send them in blind. A couple of Osas could really wreck my day. And it looks like on the right-hand side, Depression is being pushed back a little bit. So Volksgrimjäger, of course, will do a nice job holding, but Nordlandsäger getting pushed back by KT. Ooh, no. Pushing back the KTs, look at that. 1575 meter range on the recoilless rifle. That's better than most, isn't it? Huh. I guess that kind of explains why I see them all the time, but command infantry moving up in Bravo, and even if they get the cap here, I don't care all that much. There's also a counter cap in Charlie, so we're down to 3 points ticking instead of 5, but able to screen out the T80s a little bit here. I'll lose my K-25, but that's okay. Well, KFV-25. That's okay, so long as we stay alive here, and I do have a cargo truck headed up that way. A couple others as well in the center, able to kill an HH-10 from Union, and I think it's going to be one of those where even if there's a couple nice kills here, it's going to be a little bit too little too late. Fighting Falcon, and let's see if these guys survive. Ooh, that's a brutal shot, and yeah, actually they do. So they pop right into the town, just able to avoid, it looks like, those bombs. If we take a look, yeah, 4 men left. Nice evade there. Don't see that every day. BMP-3 moving forward, probably screening to see if I kill it, because he is cheaper than the T-80s. And, yeah, I mean, I didn't have the tools for it. I didn't have anything called up, so we will be bringing a couple of Nanion Cheeky Gs and a K1 forward there in just a minute. But it sort of is the last gasp for the Red 4 team now, as they're trying to make well, trying to stay alive in Charlie and make any sort of headway between Bravo and Echo. Yeah, I think this is sort of the icing on the cake. So, a plane in from Bogan, and I was going to try and fight him, but a Block 52D is not going to be able to dive an entire AA net to fight an SU-27S if I get stunned first. Of course, that will be a bad engagement, not one that I'm willing to take, but I don't know. Something tells me that my ally is not going to feel that same sort of, well, not... I guess inhibition is the right word here. So that SU-27S is in for it, as we see a Fighting Falcon come out, Bomber trying to get some nice kills here, and 2 Block 15s headed up this way, engaging with the 27S. Let's take a look. First missile's off on the Fighting Falcon. That is a nice distraction there. 1 missile hit on the 27S. Ooh, nice dodges, and able to take him down. One of the Block 15s was lost, and my Block 52 is also coming in, trying to get a shot there, but a little too late and getting out. We do spot a Shilka, and that T-80B is going to be one of the last kills of this entire game, as my Peace Pheasant 2 is coming in and just yoinking him right off the field. Shilka, though, was unanticipated. Look at that brutal, brutal damage. 1 point of strength left on the Peace Pheasant 2, and it's just enough to get him off the field. So, with that, that is all we've got for this game today. We do pop up to 500 points, but very nice game to Union and Bogan. Looks at like 4150 kills, 2580 losses, so a bit more one-sided than I had actually felt it was the first part of the game. Sort of as the game continued on, as my ally pushed into Echo, that became a bit more clear. But that's all we've got. Ooh, no, we gotta do the kill list. K1, 2 BTRTs, T80U is just wonderful, wonderful value there, and all of the infantry besides. Probably the star of the show, Hanchiku Shiki. This is the K1 that I didn't retreat, by the way, so I should have. He was a hero. But Pip-2s get 2 kills on planes, which is very nice, and the KFVs here, I mean, look at that. KFV-25, Ural, Rozvedka, MTLBV, Afghanzi, 2 helicopters even off of that autocannon, so really nice work there, and the command infantry off the other one. Alright, well, if you're still here, then I have to ask you to go ahead and do the YouTube thing, like, share, subscribe, and all that nonsense, and I do also have the Discord and Patreon listed in the video description. So that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.